And we're using what we call the ATOM strategy, which is analysis, target, operator, modulator. So in terms of maximizing psi, so this is a psi experiment, we want to find the best possible analysis. How can we best possibly analyze the data? And whenever it's green here, it's something we specifically tested in this specific experiment I'm going to talk about in a few seconds. So we try to optimize the analysis. The target here is randomness. We didn't vary, the type of targets. We have other experiments where, we try to influence photon, plasma, water, steam cells, etc. Here, specifically randomness. Here, these specific experiments also try to find the best talents and assess how personality may influence the outcome, the belief, motivation, absorption, genetics. And then the last item here, the modulator and the ATOM approach, we didn't test in this specific experiment. For example, you might want to use psychedelics, so use modulator of people consciousness or modulator of the condition of the experiment. But here we did address a lot of the try to maximize psi. We did address everything that's in green. And this experiment go way back. So Dean Radin, when he was at the Integral Research Corporation in 1998, got the idea of, okay, I want to develop a website that people can do online games. And he actually got to do it when he was moved to the Boundary Institute with Dick Schaub in 2000, and they developed this website called .godsci in 2000, and this the website was online until 2020. It got 300,000 users and 300 million trials, all of which will be made available online for anybody to download and process if they want to. There have been a couple of papers on that data. There's one of the most famous one is Trick the Trickster by Dean, so you can look it up if you want. And then a lot of the other experiments he mentioned in his latest book. So what we did more recently, still with Dean, still involved, is also at IONS. It's still at IONS, still working more than ever. So we developed this new website, which is basically very similar to the old one, except it's using modern technology. You can do it on your cell phone if you want to. And so we reprogrammed it for this specific project, trying to find talents. So we in this specific experiment, we had more than 1,000 people do the different games, and I'll show you the games in a second. And then we found the best one, and we tested them again. So of course, since we found the best one, the performance of the people we tested were good. That's how we found them. But if the question is that if we test these people again, are the performance going to be consistently good? So this was our project, which was financed by BL. And we pre-registered the experiments on the KPU website. So pre-registration, as Emerson mentioned yesterday, is very important. So you can't do what's called p-hacking, or you can't modify your analysis after you've collected the data. Because if you do 1,000 analysis, you're obviously going to find something just based on how you analyze the data. So that's just standard practice. We try to do that for all of our experiments. So here we outline exactly how the data is going to be acquired, and specifically how we are going to analyze that data. So this is the website, and these are the games. So 8 games. And so this quick remote viewing. I'm going to go through each of the game briefly. So the quick remote viewing is you're trying to guess the image that's hidden. And that's one of the 5 targets underneath. So you have misses, and you have, this is a hit. It tells you you have a hit. So by chance, you're going to get 1 out of 5. And here, this is accelerated. You do 20 trials, and then you can move on to another game. This is the long remote viewing. Same thing. You're trying to guess an image, but this time you're going to describe the content. I think there are angles. I think there's water. So you have all this questionnaire. What do you think there is in the image? And this is compared against the judges. So we had 3 judges going through each of the image, and we have a complex bootstrap process to get your score. You also can enter keywords that you think are in the image, and then this went really quick, but this was the target image. And so we compare your score to that of the judge. This is another game. It's called the dowsing game. Here, the red dot is chosen by the computer, and you're trying to guess where the red dot is going to be. And again, there's 20 trials. Sorry, it's going so fast. This is we call it the bubble game, but here this is controlled by random numbers, and you're trying to coalesce the circles. So there's also some music, and the music is modulated, but you're trying to make the bubble into a circle, and the position of the bubbles is controlled by a random number generator, and we compare this, the random numbers compared to the baseline. So when you're trying to coalesce the bubbles into a circle compared to the baseline. Then there's 3 different card games. This is one of them. Again, you're trying to find the card. So this one is very similar to the remote viewing game. Then there's another sequential card game where there can be different cards. There can be multiple cards which have the targets. So you have to click until you find one. And then there's a third game which is very similar. The next one we have is the lottery test. So this maps the California lottery. So you can choose 5 numbers and 1 complementary number. And then you have a random draw. So it's not a real draw, but it's a random draw. And this is, so after the California lottery, so you have the 8 games. And here on top, this is the number of trials. And then you have different levels. And the reason we do that is it needs to be gamified. So people come back to the game. We actually have people that goes to this website every single day and do thousands of trials. And then this is your skill performance for each of the games. So as you get more trials, you can up your level up to 4. And then you can see here your performance compared to other people on the website. And we also have Hall of Fames where you can see who's doing better than others. And that's basically the website. So we had 1,000 people, which we recruited on the new website, and they had to do all the games. And once they do all the games and they're up to level 2, then they qualify to be in the experiment. A lot of people will do some of the games, not all. This is the Hall of Fame, so it's just showing you how you can do the Hall of Fame. So we had a total of 1,018 people. We selected the best one, and then we got 50 people among the best one. So when for the best ones, we emailed them and we told them, you've done all the games, you've qualified to be in the second stage. Do you want to be paid to do more games? And most people said yes, of course. So show me the data. So this is the criteria to be in the second stage. You have to do 20 trials of the photo guessing one, which is this is the 8 games. We have slightly different names here. 2 trials of the long remote viewing, etc. And here, this is how we found the talents. So for each of the games, this is the distribution of the performance. And basically, we select talents in the upper tail right there of that distribution. This is the example of, this is the actual distribution for each of the games. And we can see some people here, there seems to be some talents, in some of the games. So we did find, so these are circled here. Again, the 8 games, but, and this is zoomed here. It's not like there's tons of people, it's not like there's a big peak right there with like 10% of the people. It's just a couple of individuals. In a lot of these games. And these are the results. So this is phase 1 for the people we selected. And so phase 1, you see p-value very, very low. Well, that's not surprising. This is how we selected them. So, it makes sense that the p-value would be low. They had to be good at all the games. This is the second phase where we retested them. And you can see for 2 of the games, remote viewing and the bubble game, we got significant results. It's very far from the original one. So in terms of the conclusion of these experiments, were we able to find talents that had reproducible results? It's a mixed answer, yes and no. Yes, some of the games were still significant, although, it was very far from the original p-value. What we also tested, and that's my last table, is the variation based on the personality score. So they did the IONS Discovery Lab. So we have a whole questionnaire of 15 minutes to assess the big 5 personality scores, Cloninger scale, transcendence, paranormal belief, etc. And we didn't find a strong correlation between the performance here in either of the phase and their personality. There were some trends, but I'm not going to comment on the trend. You can come talk to me afterwards. And I don't know how I did on time, but I'm basically done. Thank you so much for your attention. And thank you to the BL Foundation for supporting this project.
Time for questions. So we have lots of time for questions. So any questions? Ramses, do you want to take this?
Hello, Arnaud. Wonderful presentation. Do you have evidence, or have you done any analysis that the gamification process is working? Do you know how much it's working?
What do you mean by working? Well, we have people coming back every day. So from that perspective, that's working.
But have you checked if have the gamification data or process has been done from the start? And if not, have you tried to compare maybe if more people were coming daily before than afterwards?
No, we implemented the gamification right away. So it was part of the original design.
Great.
But yeah, we don't know how much it added. It's like, did it double our number of participants? Did it triple? Did it make no difference? We don't know. I mean, yeah, people want to play, so we do think it made a difference, and the up level, you have this little character, you want to see, what kind of, because he changes appearance every time you up a level. So you kind of want to see how it's going to look at the next level. So it just pushes you to do more trials.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for this. I was wondering, the phase 2, how similar or different is it from phase 1? Do the participants, so they still do it online? Do they have a set number of trials they have to do for each task, or is it more free-form like the other one? Because if there's any difference in what they have to do, that might also explain the difference.
No, it's exactly the same. So they have to redo basically phase 1. Although, it's a different server, different website. They're also... here, it looks like, this is cool. This sounds easy and straightforward, but the programming of these games, you don't program these games like you programmed them in 2000. So like in terms of security and this and that, and, people hacked us, because people tried to cheat at this game, and they did succeed. And so we had to reprogram a lot of the games because people were able to cheat. Everything is now server sides instead of browser sides, like the randomization, etc. So there's a lot went into yeah, making sure this was done properly.
Looks really fun. I'm looking forward to try this. My question is, have you invited really talented people to do it? Actively inviting them. People like Ingo Swan equivalent. See how they do it in this situation.
We haven't invited like specific people. We sent it to all the outlets we have. You know, we have the IONS mailing list with more than 100,000 people. Yeah, we try to do our, due diligence, but we haven't like said to that person, well, when we talk to people, we said, oh yeah, you should try that, website. But then we can't check, did this person actually go to the website or not? But yeah, if we can trace, we have people's email, so if we have someone like, oh yeah, this person did well, and we know them, we could potentially trace them. But
I'll try to invite some people.
Yes, please.
My question goes in a similar direction. Did you consider to put a sort of a control, a same sample from the middle of the distribution and from the lower end, so to see how they perform in this other condition when they are paid?
We did not. And yeah, it would be interesting control, to do that. It would cost more money because we have to pay people.
So very interesting. We all know that size can be difficult to reproduce. I'm wondering if one reason that these people underperformed is the expectation. So first they were playing games, which is a kind of a state that tends to be conducive to playfulness and just releasing your expectation. And then you're telling these people, oh, you've done really well, and now we want to see how well you will do. And it creates this expectation and potentially more experimenter effects. Do you think that was at play in terms of not getting or performance degrading significantly?
Possibly. I mean, when we emailed them, we didn't tell them you did well. We told them we want to test you again.
Okay.
We didn't tell them we tell them you've been selected for phase 2.
Although that still creates the expectation,
Yeah,
like you're
so
more obviously observing them versus you're just playing a game on the website.
Totally. Yeah.
Very interesting.
So the IONS organization, it looks like you have the potential to assemble a group of people with quantitative experiences and qualitative experiences. I'm just wondering, some future possibility would be assembling a group of these people and having them socialize with each other, talk with each other, just to see what would happen, how they would react to each other. Maybe they could help each other like that, or even
crowdsourcing. We actually discussed with Dean, doing experiments. We've done some crowdsourcing for the one that pops up in my mind was the Burning Man. So that's like a festival in the US. And we had spread out throughout the playa. They call it the playa. That's the city of Burning Man. But just here for a week, we had spread out random number generators to see the wave effect, where we would see the propagation of the wave during the burning of the man. So this is one experiment of what we've done with random numbers for crowdsourcing collaboration, even though there was no specific intention to modify the random numbers. But we're also interested in that. In terms of online games, so we would need to think about that, because this is best done from your bedroom. Basically, you're in front of your computer by yourself. So then we would need like some more complex game where people can interact.
So that kind of leads to my question then. Are you doing anything to look at the environment that people are doing while they're doing these online tests? Because, some people might be watching TV, taking care of kids, or, are you looking at any of that?
We're not looking at any of that. We thought, at some points we had some other project where you could, remotely turn on the camera to see what people are doing, but that's very invasive, and then you lose a lot
Well,
of
even
subjects.
just doing a quick questionnaire and asking
Yeah.
people, were you paying attention? Were you, what were you doing? Did you finish? Are you tracking how much time it takes them to do things?
We have the time. We have, like, every single time people press something, we have a trace. So we have the time of everything. So we know how long people take to finish. But if they don't finish, they don't qualify. So,
Right.
Yeah. So they're excluded.
Thanks, Arnaud. Great talk. On phase 1, globally, all the trials together, was there a side effect?
So that was this slide right here. Actually, no, I don't have the phase 1. I have it here, phase 1 all. I don't think there was a side effect with all the people included. The 1,000 people, that's your question, was there a side effect on the 1,000 people? It's hidden. It's part of this table, but I don't show it here. I don't think there was an effect. It's in the paper, if you read the paper.